In today's Spurs chat video, I'll be talking to three big Tottenham fans, Craig, Melvyn and Hollie, all about Tottenham's win against West Bromwich Albion at the weekend, how important Harry Kane is to Spurs, what can Tottenham achieve this season, and also previewing the Everton FA Cup game this Wednesday. Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. I'm delighted to bring on three special guests, Melvyn, Craig and Hollie, for this Spurs chat video. Melvyn, let's come to you first. West Bromwich Albion at the weekend. We finally got the 3 points after three consecutive defeats in the Premier League. How did you see the game?
Yeah, it was good. I was surprised Kane was a starter. I left him out of my fantasy team. He was on the bench. You know, I missed out on valuable points there. Yeah, but I was very surprised to see Kane back. He made, the difference. I think we take it for granted how well he's been playing and what an asset he is to our team. I was surprised to see even the lineup, and I think it was spot on with Lucas and Lamela. I'm sure we'll get into it. It was great. It was energy. We were pressing. And that's what we needed. We needed the 3 points to get the ball rolling into the next set of fixtures, which hopefully they don't slow us down. But we need victories, and we need to get the confidence going. And it was great that he recognized that we were in such poor form, and he had to change it up a bit. And when they came on against Chelsea, they injected a bit of spark into the game, and Jose recognized that and changed it. So I'm happy with the 3 points, and hopefully it continues.
Melvyn, it goes to show that front foot attacking football does actually work under Jose Mourinho, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But realistically, do you see it happening again against City, where, we beat them twice playing counter-attacking football? And that's, I'll mention that later on in the show. We beat them twice. And what's he going to do? Press them again? If the previous method worked. So sometimes it works against the lower opposition, and there's times for it, and I'll leave it to Jose.
Craig, let's come to you. I spoke to you the other day. The mood was very low, of course. 3 consecutive defeats in the Premier League. This was a game that Tottenham should have won. West Bromwich Albion, they've got the worst goal difference in the Premier League. They've just lost to bottom of the table Sheffield United. This was meant to be a Tottenham win anyway, wasn't it? So, should we all be getting carried away? Should we be getting excited? How are you feeling about it?
It's exactly like you say. It's a game we should have won. No, we shouldn't be getting carried away. With the greatest respect to West Brom, it was West Brom, a team, like you say, we should be beating if we want to challenge for anything. I actually thought West Brom played pretty well, to be honest, but we played better. Good energy, great to see the energy back up. I think Lucas and especially Lamela brought us that. I wish Lamela had played like that every game he comes on or gets a start. The high press was something that was missing. We all know that, and it was great to see that. And I'd just like to take credit. I reckon Jose must have watched the video we recorded, because remember me saying about telling them to get up the pitch? He was doing it. I saw him doing it, and I saw all the viral chat, and so I'll take the credit for that one. No, in all seriousness, it was great. It was really good to see us pressing, playing the high press, essentially, having more of the ball, controlling the game, and taking the game to West Brom. So it was great, but let's not get carried away. It's Everton up next, and then City.
Exactly. Hollie, let's come to you. Welcome to the channel, first of all, and tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel.
So yeah, at the moment I just kind of do game reviews. So I literally just whack it up on my phone, record myself. And at the minute I was running out of depressing music for the introductions, but now obviously after we've got a win, I found some jazzy music, so that was a good one. But pretty much, yeah, that's all I do. I'm looking to do it lives, to have a few people on to chat in Tottenham, kind of like you kind of do, but a bit more live. But yeah, no, it's good. And thank you for having me on. I'm really looking forward to this chat.
No problem. Hollie, what did you think of Tottenham's performance on Sunday? Of course, it was a game that Tottenham should have won. Harry Kane obviously came back and was quite influential in the game. But what are your thoughts on Sunday's match?
I think it's something that definitely needed to happen. Obviously, the losses we've had to take in the recent weeks have really put a dampener on things. And I think Kane coming back into that side really shows you how much we need Kane. I mean, there's a lot of talk saying, obviously, last season that Kane isn't as important as we all thought he was. But in recent weeks, it kind of shows that Jose thinks that he is the centre of this team. And I think that's something we kind of take for granted with Harry Kane. I think lots of people get carried away with the fact that how good Sonny is. But we've also seen in recent weeks, without Kane, Sonny doesn't really live up to par either. So it's quite nice to see Kane back. I don't know whether it was mind games from Jose saying he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. In actual fact, he hasn't been out for that long, or whether he has tried to push him back to fitness. But the fact that he came out, obviously got that goal, which was good as well. And I think it just brings up the whole morale of the team when we see Harry Kane back in. Like, we know he's Tottenham through and through, and it just boosts everyone. And I think that was shown in the way we decided to play as well.
Melvyn, let's come round to you now. The Tottenham lineup: Hugo Lloris in goal, and then Ben Davies, Davinson Sanchez, Toby Alderweireld, Serge Aurier, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Tanguy Ndombele, Eric Lamela, Lucas Moura, Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. Now, rare starts for Davinson Sanchez, Eric Lamela, Lucas Moura. How did you see their performances?
They were really good. I think the most thing that left me thinking the whole day of is Ndombele playing, further deeper, next to Højbjerg. I think that was the best thing that happened out of the game, because realistically going forward, that's probably going to be his best position next to Højbjerg, starting the attack rather than finishing it. I can see us, going into the later stages of the season, hopefully, Lamela playing behind Harry Kane, and fingers crossed, hopefully Dele Alli can, win back his position, and we know he can play that so well. I think, Lucas runs his socks off for the team, and what he lacks maybe in the final pass, he makes up an effort, and so does Lamela. So yeah, it was it's good to see Lucas playing. It's sad to see Bergwijn being dropped, but he's just not been doing it lately, and I don't know. I lost the train of thought there, but yeah.
Melvyn, let's ask you another question about the front foot attacking football. Like you said, will it happen against Everton or Manchester City? Why can't Tottenham do that in every game?
I don't know, because I think Liverpool can't do it the whole season. We've been playing, two matches every week, and I don't think it's sustainable for a whole season. I think we would pick up injuries here and there. You see Harry Kane this season, yes, he injured his ankle, and it wasn't, fingers crossed, it wasn't such a long injury, but I don't think pressing football and, playing sprinting for 90 minutes. I don't think it can happen, with so many games coming so tight together. I don't think we can do that for a whole season. Even this, pressing every single match. I don't think we can do that for the entire season. So, we beaten West Bromwich Albion playing good football, attractive football. But realistically, do you think he's going to do it again against Manchester City? I don't think so. I'll probably go to what's worked in the previous two matches where we beaten them, which is sad, because we made a step in the right direction, but now is Jose gonna go back to the previous method which worked? That's what I want to see. Probably that's what he'll do.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see what he'll do. And also, do you think he has a mind, half of his mind on the final, so he's not going to use all his secrets in this match? He'll probably save it for the final. It's interesting what he's gonna do, and he has to keep in mind that we have one more match against Manchester City, which we have to win.
Craig, let's come round to you. When you saw Harry Kane walking in that Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, did it fill you with huge amount of confidence? Because, of course, so many fans were very down after those 3 defeats against Liverpool, Brighton and Chelsea. When you saw Harry Kane walk in that stadium, did it fill you with confidence that Tottenham were going to get the goals and win the game?
Yeah, exactly what Hollie said, Amazed he was on the team sheet, but then again, I'm not amazed. We all know he heals fairly quickly. Jose will play the odd mind game. He probably knew 3-4 days ago, certainly before the press conference, that Harry had a chance to play, but he's not going to say, is he? I don't think any of us would. Kane just lifts not just the fans, but the whole team. You could see it. Sonny was like a completely different player. He was like the Sonny we know he can be. You know, he almost seemed lost in the games Kane was missing, and it just makes a massive difference. And, you know, somebody on the telly likened it, he's dead right, to when Messi isn't playing for Barcelona or Ronaldo isn't playing for Juve or when he was at Madrid. He's just such a big player. And, you know, whatever that man wants in his contract, we need to give it to him because, you know, he's 27 now and, you know, he's after his last big payday, essentially. I don't think he's not the sort of lad that would kick up a fuss. I don't think as long as he thinks we're realistically going to be challenging and actually serious about challenging for things, I think he'll stay. But, you know, we need to start doing it, don't we? But yeah, absolutely brilliant to see Kane back in the team, and not a surprise we got the result that we all wanted. And by the way, 2-0. That's what I said, wasn't it?
Craig, does it worry you, though, the fact that we are so reliant on Harry Kane? Because even Jose Mourinho, after the game, said he's one of the best strikers in the world. The team depends a lot on him. We can't hide that. You know, does it worry you as a Spurs fan that we rely on one player so much?
Yeah, it is a worry. But then all sides, top sides, have generally got a player that they're going to miss. I mean, you could point at Mane for Liverpool, Messi again, Ronaldo. But yeah, we do need to have another striker essentially that can step up to the plate. Is Vinicius that person? I don't know. I think only time will tell with that. But let's face it, nobody can replace Harry Kane. Jose is right in there. Nobody can replace Harry Kane. And it's incredibly difficult to get somebody to do that job as well as he does it. You know, he's not the best. I think he's the best number 9/10 in the world at the moment. And, you know, nobody does what he does as well as he does it. And that's the truth. You know, we could have somebody coming in to try and be a bit more of a playmaker, but him and Sonny have got this connection, haven't they? That I'm not sure. Perhaps he had it with Eriksen. Perhaps both of them had it a bit with Eriksen. But Sonny and Kane this season have taken it to another level. You've only got to look at the stats.
Hollie, let's come round to you. Now, of course, the team lineup, you know, rare starts for Davinson Sanchez, Eric Lamela and Lucas Moura. It is all about taking opportunities. And for me, Lucas Moura and Eric Lamela certainly did that.
Yeah, without doubt. And like I said, I think we were all a bit surprised in a sense that we didn't see Stevie B play, because I thought Stevie B was coming on a bit at the start in the games that he's played recently. I think that rather than running at players and not finding that killer pass, I feel at times Stevie B was the one that managed to retain possession and pass it kind of sideways like Winks did, but with a bit more conviction. And I felt like his tracking back also warranted quite well as well. But I think seeing Lucas play and obviously seeing the way that he managed to set up Sonny for that goal, I was thinking in my head every time, I was like, please keep running, don't run into a player, because we all know what he's like. He tends to just run on a mad one and then run into a player or pass the ball willy-nilly and it not go well. But to actually see him then cut in and pass it to Sonny was great. Obviously from Lamela, we all know that he's this signing in the side that's one that he's taking all the money off the books. And some people think, why is he still here? But I think it's a true credit to him, the fact that he'll put his all in all the time. And I think the performances, if he manages to stay fit, because I think we have this argument every season that the fact that if he manages to stay fit, I think he'll be a quality player. And I think we saw glimpses. I know it's only West Brom, but in this squad at the moment, you have got to take your chances. And I feel both Lucas and Lamela actually went out and did that against West Brom.
Hollie, with the likes of Eric Dyer and Stephen Bergwijn, do you think that they were dropped, or do you think that they've been rested for the Everton game and Manchester City game next week?
I think, for me, I really don't like Eric Dyer. And it might sound quite controversial, but for me, the fact, I just don't think he's got that presence or that commanding thing that you need as a defender. And I think Toby's tried to take him under his wing. And for me, I just don't think it's happening. I mean, I think we know that Jose likes him and he's probably his favourite. So we probably will see him against City. And for Bergwijn, the fact that I've highlighted the fact that I think he tracks back. And I think against City, that's something we're really going to need. So probably that is his method in thinking.
Hollie, what have you made of our signing in the summer, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg? Because he has been a real rock in that midfield, hasn't he?
Oh, he's been quality. I mean, his first game against Everton, like most Spurs fans do, were quite reactionary. And I think I was one of those to think, oh no, what have we gone and signed here? But week in, week out, I feel like if we didn't have him in that CDM role, I feel like we would have conceded a lot more goals. And I think as well, we're starting to see that element in his play where sometimes he will push forward and play that killer pass. Like we saw against West Brom again, he managed to pass that ball through to Kane to get that goal. So I think in hindsight, it was a brilliant signing, and I hope that he keeps performing, because I think without him, we'd probably be either conceding a few more goals or dropping a few more points.
Absolutely. Melvyn, Gareth Bale. What on earth has happened to Gareth Bale? You know, you're thinking Tottenham are 2-0 up against one of the worst sides in the Premier League, you know, worst records. 70, 80 minutes, you're thinking as a Tottenham fan, surely Gareth Bale has to get some minutes against West Bromwich Albion to get his confidence up, to get some minutes in the Premier League. Why is Gareth Bale not being used?
You know what's strange though, because, you know, Dane Scarlett excites me more than Gareth Bale, because, you know, the prospect of a 16-year-old breaking into the team and having, you know, an incredible player on our hands, that excites me more than a 31, 32-year-old Gareth Bale who, you know, is at the end of his career. You know, it breaks my heart saying that in a way, because, you know, Gareth Bale made us fall in love with football, made me fall in love with football anyway, because I was quite young when he burst onto the scene. So I don't know, it's not happening for him, is it? And unfortunately, he needs game time, and we need him to be at his peak. So one sort of holds the other. We need to give him games, but at the same time, we need him firing on all cylinders, which isn't happening right now. I don't know. You can't lose your talent, can you? But it's the sharpness, and you could see when players aren't running at their best. You know, some teams, if you aren't at your best, you know, you just fall off the pace. Like Liverpool, maybe aren't at their best. I'm going to use them as an example, and he's just not running at 100%. You know, it's maybe a combination of injuries. You know, not playing for an entire season with Real Madrid. You know, the injuries creep up on you. It's sad. It's very sad not to see him, you know, grabbing all the goals and assisting like I thought he would be. And even when he's playing, maybe his final balls are not, you know, as that quality I thought he would have, you know, the killer pass. Maybe if it's not relying on his speed, I thought he would still be a quality player. But even he's misplacing passes. I don't know if it's confidence or the pressure of him, you know, having another year on his, you know, to add it to his contract. I don't know, because it's Gareth Bale. You know, you think he would handle the pressure. He maybe he thrives on it, but it just doesn't seem to be working.
Do you think Jose Mourinho will use Gareth Bale in either the Everton or the Manchester City game?
I hope he plays him for the Everton game, because if he doesn't play for the Everton game or the Europa League game, where else is he going to play? You know,
well, I think Melvyn, you know, if he doesn't play in those two games, surely he's being saved for the Wolfsburger, you know, Europa League games, first leg, second leg, because otherwise, what on earth is the point of even having him on the bench?
I think in the Europa League he'll definitely play, because, you know, they're not the highest quality opposition. You know, against Everton, he might get a shout. I hope he does. And I don't see him right now quite playing in the league, but in the cup games, you know, Jose has to rotate. You know, these players are playing twice a week. He's gonna need to rotate. You know, he can't keep playing Bergwijn and Lucas. Maybe he can, maybe he will. You know, Jose will always put the best team at the time forward. You know, he takes the cup seriously, and which kind of brings me on to a question I want to ask you, Chris. Would you prefer to beat Everton or Manchester City if you had to take either or? No, you wanting to win all the trophies.
I'm greedy. I want everything.
Yeah.
I definitely want Tottenham to win a trophy, and you know, we are going to come on to that. You know, it's 30 years since Tottenham last won the FA Cup, so I'd love to see Tottenham win the FA Cup. But
if you had to choose, I have to give you an option now. A definite victory.
I'll think about it and I'll come back to you.
Would you take Everton or Manchester City? You have to choose by the end.
Well, I think everyone's expecting us to lose against Manchester City anyway. So, you know, and they've just battered Liverpool 4-1. So it's going to be a very, very hard game, you know, particularly after the style of football that we have been playing. I know on Sunday, you know, it was a completely different game, but we're playing West Bromwich Albion. So that Manchester City game is going to be a very, very difficult game. So I think actually I'll answer your question now. I think to win the Everton game and go through to the FA Cup, because I think that we will have a real chance in winning that. I'll ask you, you know, the same question. What do you think?
You know, we've beaten Manchester City twice now, twice in a row at home, and we're going to play them away, and they're playing very, very well, and we're maybe starting to get to our best with Harry Kane. It'll be a difficult match, but you know, with the players that we have on our day, I think we can beat anyone, even though we've been playing very poorly. But you know, on our day with Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, and I think we can beat anyone. It's obviously difficult, and I think right now, if I had to choose, I prefer to beat Everton and move further into the cup competitions than to definitely beat City, because you know, right now this season we're only fighting for top 4, and it's achievable with our team. So if we lose to City but we beat Everton and we're through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, you know, the team will start to get hungry for more finals. We're already in 1 and we're fighting for 2 more. And I think we can just build on that momentum, you know, on the cup runs, on that excitement. And so I'll take Everton over City.
Yeah. Craig, let's come to you. Now, a point that Hollie made earlier that I completely agree with her about Eric Dyer. I don't see what Jose Mourinho sees in Eric Dyer, I must say. You know, Tottenham's back 4 on Sunday: Ben Davies, Davinson Sanchez, Toby Alderweireld and Serge Aurier. For you, what is the best Tottenham back line?
That's a tough one. Of the players we've got now, I'd have to go Aurier, right back, Reguilon, left back, Alderweireld in the middle. Do you know what? I'm going to have to sling Dyer in there because of the record before Christmas. I don't rate Sanchez that much. I don't think didn't think he had a terrible game on Sunday, but you know, he wasn't fantastic. Didn't win many of his duels. So I'd love to see Tanganga get a go at centre back, if I'm honest, but I can't put that in my answer to you on the question because I just feel we haven't seen him there enough. So out of the players available, I would have to say Dyer's got to go in there, Chris, to be honest with you.
Do you think Davinson Sanchez has a future under Jose Mourinho past, you know, the end of this season?
You never know what Jose's thinking. I think if we bring in a Skriniar or the like, I think Sanchez will be up for sale, to be honest with you, because he's not been playing enough. And Jose has said he only, you know, he plays the players he trusts. And I just don't think he trusts Sanchez. I think he's only played Aurier as much as he has because Doherty hasn't been doing it. And to be fair to Aurier, he's not made as many mistakes as he has previously. I know that's hard to believe, but it's a fact. You know, he has actually improved, I think. But yeah, I can't really say much else on that one. I think he'll go in the summer, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Hollie, now, Jose Mourinho, after Tottenham's win on Sunday, said, I love the attitude, the commitment, the togetherness, the desire to win it. Now, of course, we saw after the previous game, lots of Tottenham Hotspur players walking in that game. It was like a training game. It was a completely different game on Sunday. The attitude was there. The energy was there. What changed?
Harry Kane. That's the thing. I just think having him in the squad just lifts everyone. And I think the fact that they knew he was coming back as well. Obviously, there was rumour that he had 2 days in training prior to the game. That also shows that maybe around the camp as well, the feeling was good. And I just think it got to the run and they were like thinking to themselves, this is West Brom. I think if we don't go out there and give a good showing, I think there's a lot of fans going to get on our back more so than before. So I think that was the main push. And like we've already said already, I think Harry Kane has a massive presence in this team.
Hollie, do you think that Harry Kane will beat Jimmy Greaves' record?
It depends. I was looking at this the other day. It's all about his age and what he wants to do with his career. I think with his age, I think he's probably got I reckon he could probably do it in 2 more seasons, I reckon. And then I'm thinking to myself, if I was a player, what would I like to have on my CV? Would I like to have loads of personal accolades or would I like to go win something? So I think if we don't manage to get maybe I don't know. I know we want to get a cup this year, and I think if we manage to get maybe a in-house cup, so the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, I feel like he'll stay. But I think later on in his career, I think he will probably move on. But I reckon he could do it in 2 seasons. I think that's the main gist of it with his age and everything. So 2 seasons, I reckon he could.
Alan Shearer come out and said that Tottenham are an average team without Harry Kane. Would you go along with that, Hollie?
At the moment, with the squad and the fact that I've screamed out for ages for squad depth, but I could have wanted a bit of quality in there. And I think at the moment we've got a lot of players that I feel are deadwood and a lot of players with some quality. I don't think there's a right balance at the moment. So I hate to say it, but I feel like what he said, I think, has some sort of presence about the matter, just in the fact that we've seen it now. We've seen it in the past as well, that without Harry Kane, it's not necessarily a good side for us to play because of all the things that he does when he's there, as in his presence, as in the way he manages to boost the whole team, and obviously his quality in his passing as well as his shooting. So I'll have to kind of agree with what he said there.
Melvyn, let's come to you. Now, Harry Kane is now the joint second highest goal scorer at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. He's 58 goals behind Jimmy Greaves. Do you think that he will beat Jimmy Greaves' record?
Yeah, he will. The thing about Kane is he doesn't rely on pace. He does it with quality. And the thing is, this season, Jose managed to replace Eriksen with Harry Kane. Do you know what I mean? It's like he has 11 assists, and I don't think in 3 combined seasons he had 11 assists. And he's still getting all the goals as well. So it's like, he's playing him at quarterback. Going back to that NFL reference there, but it's like Jose played Harry Kane at quarterback, and at the same time he's going at the end zone and collecting the ball, so he's throwing the ball and collecting it at the same time. It's a crazy season, and it's a tactic that's working because Kane is getting, he's feeding Son, and defenders are being confused who's going to attack. Are they marking Kane? Are they marking Son? So it's been working. So he's an incredible player. If he's going to beat Jim Greaves' record in 2 years, I'll be afraid that he'll leave because he'll say, I've done what I wanted here. And if he doesn't win trophies, if he beats it in a couple of seasons, he'll say, oh, I'll go for a new challenge. I'll do something else. So if it's a question if he'll beat it for sure, without a doubt. It's a matter of when. And then, if injuries don't if he gets unlucky and gets a major injury, that's what holds him back. But he'll definitely beat those records. I even reckon he'll beat the England record. He'll beat Wayne Rooney. He'll beat most records. It will be a shame if he ends his career without a trophy because he deserves it. And boy, we've been dying for one. And I hate people don't rate him because they keep saying, oh, what's he won? What has he won? But his stats are incredible, and what he's done for Tottenham is incredible. And yeah, he just season on season, he keeps improving. And Jose told him in the Amazon documentary that I'll bring you to the same level as Messi and Ronaldo. And I think he's been doing it. That's what he did. He said, yeah. I'll blow you up and I'll make you into a star. And he has. And hopefully we don't lose him because it's great to have Harry Kane in your team.
Well, Melvyn, the one season wonder is 21 behind Wayne Rooney for England and 104 behind Alan Shearer's Premier League record. Now, I asked Craig the other day, and we discussed this at length. So, Melvyn, I'll come to you and then Hollie after. What keeps Harry Kane at Tottenham Hotspur? Because if we don't win a trophy this season, does he stay?
This is the thing. Kane is on a 3-year contract, and you have to look at it from the financial side, and you have to look at it from Daniel Levy's world. And there's no way Harry Kane is ever going to leave. I don't think he will leave. At least not in 2-3 years, because you have to look at it. How much is he worth to us? And in this market, he's worth 150 million to maybe 200 million. And in this COVID pandemic, who's going to pay that? There's only few clubs in the world who can pay that. And that's Manchester City and maybe Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. And, maybe he doesn't want to go to Bayern Munich, to leave. So I don't think he's going to leave. That's the thing. No club has that money right now to come in, and Kane won't force a move because I don't think he's that type of guy. So I think he will stay. And with Jose, if the club backs him, we will win things. It's just a matter of time. We have the foundation for it. We have a very good manager. We have a very good stadium. And we've been saying this for so many years. It's about time that it comes through. We have all the right foundation for us to start winning. And it will happen. I think it's just a matter of time until we get that first trophy over the line. And all of a sudden we become a club that wins trophies. You know, it only starts with the Carabao Cup. And Jose genuinely thinks he can win the Europa League. He's won it twice already. And with our team, you know, it's only, I think 8 games and a final. And we win the Europa League. So if we're a club that wins things, Harry Kane will say, I'll just finish my career here. And you know, I think he's happy. He has a family he has 3 kids. He lives in London. He's playing for his boyhood club. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go better? He's not going to go, you know, why would he go to Manchester City and tarnish his perfect career? If he can win things at Tottenham and stay here, he'll retire and break all of Tottenham's records and break all of England's record. And, you know,
it's 13 years and counting. Hollie, you spoke about Harry Kane's personal records and personal accolades, but, you know, for a player like Harry Kane and even, you know, players like Jan Vertonghen who left the club and Mauricio Pochettino leaving the club, it's crazy, isn't it, to think that all of these players and, you know, the ex-manager leaving, you know, without even winning a single trophy.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And I think it's just, with Harry Kane, I think because he's in touching distance with the form he's on to get all these personal accolades, I think, why would you move when you're so close? And I think it is true, like, everybody wants to win trophies. I think everybody that's competitive wants to win trophies. And it's true, because once he's retired and he looks back on his years as playing as a footballer, what is he going to want to be having loads of these personal accolades, or is he going to want to see, I've won this trophy, I've won this trophy, I won this title? And I think there will come a time where Harry Kane will be like, look, I've tried this, I've loved it, I've broken all the records. I think it's time for me to go on and get a team trophy. And I think that will come, but right now I think it's too early to say. I think it's more of a summer transfer window clickbait kind of ad that Harry Kane's going off in the summer, because it happens every year. And I think we've just got to try and stay grounded, because like we said, I think we all know Kane's through and through. And I keep saying it because it's true. And I think right now, I think he'll keep his head down and obviously try and get a trophy this season and then go from there.
Craig, the stats talk for themselves, because average goals per game for Tottenham Hotspur without Kane 1.2, with Kane 1.9, win ratio 41%. Without Harry Kane, 56% with Harry Kane, and points per game, 1.5 without and 1.9 with. You know, if Harry Kane was to leave, you know, how on earth would Tottenham replace someone like that?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what we touched on the other day. Who do you replace him with? That he's ready and willing to come to Tottenham apart from anything else. I genuinely can't think of another player that does what he does. You know, not just in the Premiership, but in European football as well. And just going back to Shearer, I don't know what the stats are for Alan Shearer. He was one of my all-time favourite players ever, Alan Shearer. But I'm sure in the teams he played for, when he was out with his cruciate, when he did his ankle, I'm sure the stats were very, very similar, because the team Shearer played for relied on him. I mean, he only won, I think, was it just the Premiership with Blackburn, and then he wanted to go home and play for Newcastle. So there are players out there like that. You know, all he wanted to do was score a goal in front of the Gallagher, you know, where his dad used to take him as a kid. So there are, Harry Kane for me is more like an Alan Shearer, perhaps not in style of play, but as a, you know, pretty grounded person. I think he's more likely to stay at Tottenham than leave, if I'm honest. I kind of agree with Melvyn. I don't think he would ever want to leave. Once he breaks Greaves' record, which he's going to, is he going to think, right, I've done, like Hollie said, you know, I've done the individual. Do I really want to win that team trophy? Of course he would want to, but at that stage of his career, let's face it, if he is still here, he's going to be approaching 30. It comes down to, you know, he either going to have that one big move somewhere when he's 30, or he's happy to stay at Tottenham. And I think if he's there, when he's 30, he's going to be with us till the end of his career. I think I don't agree that he's going to go in the summer or even next year. I think it could be that couple of years down the line if he's going to go. But he is incredibly important to us, no question.
Hollie, Tottenham are currently 8th in the Premier League. We've played 22 games, won 10, drawn 6 and lost 6. We've got 36 points. We're 4 points away from the top 4, 14 points behind Manchester City at the top. Now, Jose Mourinho has come out and said about our league position, I believe at the end of the season, we will be where we belong. Now, where will that be?
That's a good question. I think at the moment with the teams, how they're playing, how Liverpool are dropping points at Anfield, which was once the battleground that can't be defeated, and now it's being defeated. I think COVID has really taken a massive presence in football at the moment, and you really can't predict anything. So Jose coming out of that is kind of a Jose comment in a sense that I think to myself, is he trying to save his bacon, or is he trying to tell fans we're going to get back to top 4? So I'm hoping we do get to top 4, but just for the way that the games have been going at the minute. But who knows? I mean, we'd all like to get back to UCL football, so that would be great. But if we go on and win Europa League, we're being UCL anyway. So it's a tough one to try and judge.
It's amazing that Liverpool thing, isn't it? You know, they was it 68, 69 games unbeaten, and then all of a sudden they lost the last 3, is it?
Incredible.
It's absolutely incredible. Incredible statistic.
Hollie, when you look at Tottenham, though, do you see us as a top 4 team at the moment? Do you see us as a top 6 team? Because, we're drifting down the table. Lots of teams are beating one another. Very weird results. Where do you realistically see Tottenham finishing?
It's a tough one because we were on such a fly at the start of the season, and then it's just kind of dipped. I kind of translate us into Everton. I feel like us and Everton have kind of gone down the same sort of path, having really good games and then falling off a cliff and then trying to get back up again. So yeah, realistically, right now, I'd probably see us as a top 6 club. Obviously, we all kind of want to be in top 4, and we should be in top 4 with the players we've got, because there's no doubt about it. We have quality in our side. It's just, I think in certain areas, especially the defence, it's lacking. So I'd have to say right now, top 6, but obviously we all have high aspirations, so it's got to be top 4 by the end of the season.
Hollie, you spoke earlier and said that some of the players are not good enough for the Tottenham squad at the moment. I don't blame you if you don't want to name them, but what areas would you improve on the pitch if you could?
Definitely the defence. There's no doubt about it. I just feel like I love Toby to bits. I feel like with his age, obviously it was between him and Jan who was going to go. And I feel like once Toby has left us due to, I think, the same reason Jan has left us, I think we're going to be really exposed at the back. And I still don't think Dyer is going to be that commanding presence to fill his space. So for me, I think it's the defence. Obviously, we've got Davies as well that stresses me out. And Serge Aurier is a credit to me at the moment, because I have probably said a few naughty words to him in the sense that I don't think he's been good enough. But the fact that we brought Mac Doherty in, and okay, I think him coming in obviously raised the game of Serge Aurier, because there's not many faults I have with Serge at the moment. And I think that's a credit to him, the fact that he has fought for his place and now he's playing great. So yeah, that back 4 is really stressing me out. The same with, I know I've got Winks in the background, but he's really let me down as well. I feel like he's a player that doesn't really do a lot with the ball, in the sense that he won't move the ball on. I feel like it's always, let's keep possession, let's play it safe. And I think right now we don't kind of need that player. I feel like we need a player that's going to push on, because we really lack in that element. So it's just a lot of dead wood here and there, and I think we just need to strengthen that defence up, really.
Hollie, I didn't ask you about Gareth Bale either earlier. What do you make of the whole Gareth Bale situation, and would you like to see him still be at Tottenham for next season? Because it looks like he'll be going back to Real Madrid if he doesn't get much game time again.
Yeah, I think it's really sad, because it was so nostalgic, I think, for everyone. We all went out and bought Bale shirts. I did as well. And it was just, I think for me, it was a very tactical move, because I think there was a lot of fans that did go out and buy those shirts, me included. But I also think, thinking from a player's point of view, this is probably going to be his last Euros. And I think playing at Real Madrid, he wasn't going to get a lot of time, as we all know. And I think maybe him coming back to England, playing in a squad where he knows familiar faces, shall we say. He kind of knows how Tottenham operates. He knows Daniel Levy, obviously. And I think for him, it's kind of home, setting himself up ready for those Euros with Wales. I think it was a very tactical move by both Tottenham financially and by Bale himself. So it's sad, because we all want to see him playing well. But I don't think it's going to work, especially under Jose. I just don't think, like we've all said tonight, there's certain players he trusts, and I don't think Bale's one of those players at the moment.
I don't think he'll go back to Madrid. I've got to be honest. I can't remember whether we discussed this the other night, Chris, but I think I'm right in saying that Spanish teams certainly have got limited numbers of non-EU players they can register, and those places are like gold dust, and they don't essentially want to waste it on Bale, you know, naming him in their squad. So don't take it as a given. I don't think that he's going to go back to Madrid. I don't think he wants to go back to Madrid. I think he would if he was pushed, and he would probably quite happily sit on the bench, which would be incredibly sad. I think he would want to stay at Tottenham. I don't think he would even look to go anywhere else. I don't know. He'd be 32 by then, and to be honest, who would take him? I know that sounds incredibly sad to say, but you know, I'm still going to stick up for Gareth Bale a little bit. I think he's going to come good, but Jose needs to give him the minutes, and I think he should be starting him against Everton this week.
I was going to say, Craig, you know, where is he going to get these minutes from? You know, because yes, we'll have Europa League games, but surely he's got to have some Premier League action as well.
He should be, and that's, you know, surprising he didn't. I'm surprised he didn't start him actually against West Brom, because I think that would have been a good test for him, to be honest. I'm even more surprised he didn't bring him on. Is it a trust thing? He's got to play him surely against Everton in some capacity. Whether he plays him against City, I don't know. And then we're into the Europa again. He needs minutes to even justify Levy going to Real Madrid and say, can we have him for another season? Because I don't think even Daniel Levy, as much as he loves Bale, can justify saying, you know, we're going to pay him 250 grand a week just to sit on the bench. You know, I'm surprised Bale hasn't been banging on the door like Souness said. You know, why aren't you kicking up a fuss? Perhaps he knows that he's not been doing it and he's been trying, but he can't. I mean, that's sad in itself. There's something going on there, and I'm not sure we'll know until, you know, he's moved on or the dust has settled. But I can't. There is a player in there still. There is a player in there. I'm sure of it.
I think the last straw, unless he performs till the later stages of the season, I think it's the Euros. Aren't Wales in the Euros?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Jose might, even Tottenham as a club, we might have a look at him in the Euros. Maybe by then he'll recover, you know, some more of his fitness. He'll definitely play for Wales, and we'll get to see maybe if he performs well there. You know, maybe that could spark something, you know, renewing their contract, maybe him even taking a pay cut or something like that, because paying 200 and 220,000 a week for someone who sits on the bench and plays Europa League games doesn't make sense. So if he can ignite his form in the Euros, or maybe even in the later stages of the season, maybe, you know, getting enough games under his belt for him to get a spot maybe in one of the final, maybe the final of the League Cup or the Europa League or something. And he has to do something magical for us to sign him for another season. But for now, he just hasn't done it. Scoring, you know, a couple of goals here and there isn't enough.
He'll come on in the cup final and score an overhead kick to win us it. That's what'll happen. You know it. It's written in the stars.
If he does that, it will be the perfect moment to say, you know, goodbye. He'll come back, you know, lift the trophy. You know, we'll have the pictures forever, and you know, we'll wave goodbye, and he'll wave goodbye back, and you know, we can play golf or something.
Melvyn, let's stay with you. I want to talk about Tottenham's league position at the moment, because, of course, we are 8th. We are 4 points off the top 4, which, of course, Liverpool are in 4th. But Manchester City, Manchester United and Leicester, you know, of course, first, second and third. Are you worried about Tottenham's league position? Because surely it is a bold requirement for Jose Mourinho or any manager to finish in that Champions League spot in the top 4.
What's crazy is that, you know, match for match, we're actually 5 points better than last season, and I think we're nearly equal our away record. I think last season we had 20 points away, and right now we're at 18 points, and we're only halfway through the season. Am I worried about top 4? Yes, because I'm worried because I think we're trying to win too many things. We're trying to win the Europa League. We're in the final of the League Cup, and you know, we're greedy. We want to get to the final of the FA Cup. Something that was great about Pochettino is that, you know, he focused on top four, which left us dry in the cup department, but we always got top four, and that was always a priority over everything else. So I think it's, you know, something needs to give. Either we're going to go for the trophies or we're going to go for top four. I don't think we have the squad or the mentality to do everything, you know, and it will be greedy of us to demand that from the club. I think right now, I don't think we're in that kind of position. I don't think even Liverpool can do that right now, because they're out of all the trophies except the Champions League, obviously, but they got knocked out of the League Cup and FA Cup quite early. So I don't know, regarding league position, something needs to give. I can see us getting knocked out of the FA Cup, you know, and us focusing on the league and the Europa League. But we have to get top four, because with the COVID situation, we need the financial gain that the Champions League grants you. And I think another season in the Europa League, you know, look at Arsenal, how far they've fallen. You know, financially, it's a massive burden for clubs to be out of the Champions League for so many years. You know, them being, I think this is the third year out of the Champions League. You lose so much money from sponsors and from everything. And with the COVID situation, us losing 60 million in 1 year, it will take a toll, because it will affect us in transfers. It's a snowballing effect. So we have to get back into the Champions League.
Melvyn, seeing what you've seen in the last few weeks, though, you know, performances against Liverpool, Brighton and Chelsea, you know, forget about the West Brom game at the weekend. I don't think you can really take that one into consideration. You know, what you've seen in those three matches, do you think that Tottenham do have enough to finish in the top four?
It's so hard to gauge where we are, because 1 minute you think, oh, we're a good team this season, and then we play another match and you think, oh, we're poor, we're not a good team this season. It's so hard, because I felt at one point we were going to win the league, and at other points, other moments of the season, I thought, this is relegation form. We look worse than Brighton. You know, so it's difficult, because 1 minute you think you're going to win the league, and 1 minute you think we're absolutely, you know, we can't do anything. We can't even string a couple of passes together or get a couple shots on target. So it's hard to gauge where we're at. You know, we've beaten West Brom, who are in the relegation zone. Now we're going to play Everton and Man City. So we'll get another feel for where we're at the season in a couple of weeks. If we can get two results, you know, a result against Everton and maybe a draw against Manchester City, you know, all we need to do is nick from the big matches, you know, a draw here and there, and I think we'll be okay. But it's gonna take, you know, some moments of individual brilliance from Son and Kane, and you know, they need for us to finish, I think, in the top four. We're gonna need Kane probably to break, you know, records with goal scoring, and Son as well. You know, Kane probably has a chance to get top scorer in goals and top assists, which is crazy. I don't think anyone has ever done that. I'm not sure, I could be wrong, but he could break that record. Have the most assists and the most goals in one season. He's close, and he can probably do it. So it's going to take something like that for us to finish top four.
Craig, let's come round to you. Now, in the first season at any club, Jose Mourinho wins a trophy. Now, we are in the League Cup final. Now, he has said we are already in one cup final and we will fight to be in two more. I feel that we can do something very special in the Europa League. As a Tottenham fan, what are you going to be happy with at the end of this season?
Well, primarily a trophy. Trophies are coming, aren't they? Yeah, I'll be happy with a trophy. But do you know what? I think we all just want to see progression and us pushing for that top four. I thought it was a given just before Christmas, to be honest with you. It didn't even cross my mind we'd slip how we have. Well, you know you're going to go through a dodgy patch in the season, 2 or 3 games. But the way we have slipped down that table, and, you know, take the West Brom game out of it, it's been pretty horrendous. since probably the Leicester game just before Christmas. You could argue the Liverpool, we all know what happened in that Liverpool game. We hit the post, didn't we? And, we should have at least got a draw, let's face it. So, it's what would I be happy with? The minimum has got to be a trophy. And yeah, it's no coincidence he's won trophies in his first season. The fact, going back to what you was discussing about earlier, would you rather win against Everton or City? For me, it's got to be Everton, because then you're essentially, I think, in the quarterfinals. If you win that, you have to win 3 games, or 2 games, and you're in a final, aren't you? So, for me, is it double-headed semi-final? Do you play home and away?
No, I don't.
Just one.
There you go. 2 games, and you're in another final if we beat Everton. That's the bottom line. So essentially, it's easier to get to win a cup almost at this stage than get in the top 4. I know that I'd love to get stake. That's the ultimate, isn't it? Win a cup, get in the top 4. I'd be happy with that. That's the answer to your question. There we go. I think that's what we should be going.
Great. We touched on this when we spoke the other day. Now, the board obviously want that top 4 place. A lot of the fans want trophies. Now, if Tottenham won an FA Cup or we won a League Cup, it's not going to do anything for the board, is it? The board want top 4. So let me put this to you. If Tottenham and Jose Mourinho won a trophy, i.e. the League Cup or the FA Cup, or indeed both, and Tottenham finished outside the Champions League places, and they indeed finished outside the Europa League places, we didn't have any European football, would Jose Mourinho be under pressure from the board?
God, massively. Absolutely. And, you could argue that that'd be it. Let's say, Jose, pack your bags.
Even though he's won an FA Cup or League Cup or both?
I think so. I think so. His job's got to be on the line, because that, written in, perhaps even not part of his, can't be part of his contract, but, say you've got to get into Europe at least. Look at the money we've spent last summer.
Yeah.
Jose, you've asked for these players, allegedly. Our squad, we should be in the top 4. We know that. At least top 6. And if he's not delivering that, you spend all that money. And Ndombele's come good, 60 odd million as well. Let's not forgetting Ndombele and the Celso. The amount we pay for the Celso. He's still to come back. I mean, he could have a big impact, couldn't he? So I'm not buying into this that, we're still building. He said at the beginning of the season he was happy with the squad.
Yeah.
I think we all were happy with that squad. On paper,
I agree. Yeah.
I was so excited going into this season, and beginning of December, top of the league. What's not to love? No excuses, really, is there? It's if we don't win something, getting that top 4, there's no excuses. You can't argue against it, can you?
I guarantee there'll be comments underneath in the comment section below of people saying we beat West Brom 2-0 and now we're talking about winning trophies. Now, of course, it's been 13 years without a trophy. Hollie, nice easy one for you. When are the trophies coming?
This season, please. Crossing my fingers and my toes if that's possible. It's got to happen this season. We've waited too long for it not to happen, and I think we've all touched on it. We're so desperate for one. We get all the jokes all the time. It'll probably be like, oh, you've only won the FA Cup, but at least it's a trophy to go in that cabinet in a nice new stadium. So it's got to be this year. Exactly, this year. That's it.
Melvyn, what about you?
Well, we're in the final of one, so you need to be in a final to win a trophy. So I don't know. Hopefully we get it over the line. Who do you want in a final as your manager? It's Jose. He's done it so many times, and even with the team as the underdog, he's won it before. So, I'll be confident. Plus, we beat Manchester City twice already, and I think if we beat them again, you just play some of his mind games on Pep, and we'll probably win the final before it even starts.
Melvyn, do you see it as a positive that the fact that the final was changed from February to April?
Probably, because February was our worst month.
Well, no, it would have been played at the end of this month.
Yeah.
But of course, the form that Manchester City are in at the moment, we're just hoping that, come April, Tottenham are in top form and it'll be a great game.
Yeah. We've beaten them before, and we've even beaten them, under Pochettino. So we're probably their bogey team in the last couple of years because we've beaten them.
Yeah.
Unlike Liverpool, who we haven't beaten in so long, we just can't seem to get it over the line. And I think Manchester City might have, some kind of mental block against us where they just, I think we can do it. We've beaten them in the past, and the players know how to play against them. And I don't know, they're in fine form, but Son, he's confident against them. Kane is confident against them. We know how to play them. And I don't know, I think the pressure will be more on them than us, even though we need a trophy more than they do. But I think the pressure will be more on them than us.
I think you're right, because there will be a mental aspect to that. When you look back at the Champions League, we knocked them out of the Champions League, didn't we? On probably a goal that wouldn't be given, Llorente's handball, essentially. So, and they know that we have kind of been their bogey team. So, I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying we're going to walk it against City in the final. I'm really not saying that. I'm saying it comes into it. We know that very well. We're years of playing Chelsea and getting beaten, and previously to the other year, it was Gary Lineker or something scored the goal in the game in the early 90s that won us the game, or Nico Clausen, was it? I can't remember. That's how long ago it was when we beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And it's got to be a mental thing, because it's a whole different batch of players. Remember, this batch of City players, they've played us over the last three or four seasons when we have turned up against them. And, it actually dates back. Chris, do you remember the game at White Hart Lane? I think we beat City 2-0. It was back in the days of Cole Walker, Danny Rose. It was probably the best Tottenham performance I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was good.
Thoroughly enjoyable game. And since then, City, funnily enough, I've never been worried about getting chances and having a chance against City. It's always been the Chelseas and the Liverpools. So for me, to play City in a final, I'd much rather play Manchester City than the likes of Chelsea in a final.
Are you feeling confident for that cup final then, Craig?
If you give me a choice, obviously I'll lose to them Sunday. They can score however many they want them, but we'll beat them in the final, because I think City are going to win the league. I've got to be honest with you. I'm not confident at all about the final. There's a lot of water to go under the bridge yet, Chris, as you well know. A lot of games. Let's see where we are come April, because putting West Brom aside, it was only West Brom, and no disrespect. Let's remember the last 7 or 8 games. Let's see where we are in April. Let's hope Gareth Bale comes good. Let's hope everybody's firing. We've got Lo Celso back. And then see where we are. At the moment, no, I'm not that confident, but I hope to be. There, I'll end that part on a positive note.
Exactly. Sorry, go on, Melvyn.
You were mentioning before, you were saying how you were happy with the squad, and I kind of disagree a bit. I don't think the squad is quite balanced this season. I think there's some holes in that team, which Jose is exposed in the last few months. I think some of our players they have one dynamic to them, some of them. For example, Sissoko, he can offer you only one thing. He can't offer you any goals or any assists. He can offer you strength and a bit of physicality in the team, but he can't really do anything going forward. We have quite a few players who are really one dynamic, and he's exposed that in the team, that it's obvious that, I don't know, when we played Bergwijn and these last few games, even without Harry in the team, it sort of exposed a few things that's wrong with us. And that's why I think he changed the formation, he went back to the old formation, he put Lucas and Lamela in. And I think some players this summer need to be shipped off, and I don't know who, and he needs to decide. And for example, you mentioned Harry Winks. I think Harry Winks has been
Ollie sold him.
Sorry?
Ollie sold him already.
Yeah. He won't get sold, but he's been. The system doesn't work. The way we play, it doesn't benefit Harry Winks. The only reason I think we won't sell him is because he's homegrown.
What is Harry Winks? I've never worked out what. If you would have to say, is he a CDM? I don't know what he is. I've never understood what.
Exactly. We have only.
I'm not throwing him under the bus, but what is he? What player is he?
He only offers you one thing, and it's passing. You know, he doesn't have pace. He doesn't have pace. He's been working on his shooting apparently, which worked out well in the Europa League. But we have too many players that don't offer you enough. We need midfielders who can get you goals and assists every now and then. We need midfielders who can defend and attack. You know, Moussa Sissoko sometimes gets into positions and you just know he's not going to score. You can bet against it.
Do you think that Jose Mourinho will bring the best out of these types of players, though, Melvyn?
No. I actually think he'll do the opposite. I actually think he'll put them in situations where they will look bad, and he'll tell the board, and so he can back. I think Mourinho is clever that way. He rather sort of like cover himself. You know what I mean? He'll protect his job by showing the board, look, these players cannot do what I'm asking them to do. And I think this season he showed us a few players that cannot do everything, and they only offer us one dynamic of football, and we need the midfielders to attack and defend properly. And I think we have too many midfielders who can't do both very, very well. You know what I mean? We need midfielders who can attack and defend and do it well. And unfortunately, there's holes in our team which Pochettino has seen, and we still haven't fixed.
Yeah, we bought like 10 players over the last 18 months at least, haven't we?
Not all of them have worked out well. I think Reguilon has been so underrated this season, and I'm so happy with him. You know, it will be a shame if he goes back to Real Madrid, but he's one who can attack and defend. He's got quality on both ends. You know, and Moussa Sissoko, and I'm singling him out, for example, because he's the obvious one. But Bergwijn is the other one. Yes, he's quite young and he's a prospect and he's one for the future. But he can defend, but he's not really doing anything in the final third. Yes, his passing is better than Lucas Moura, but he's not really finding the back of the net, is he?
No.
And I think Jose's exposed that this season.
Craig, let's come on to you and talk about the FA Cup game. Of course, will take place on Wednesday, and then of course we play Manchester City in the league. You know, this is a huge week for Tottenham. Of course, we're hoping that Tottenham go through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. How do you think that Jose Mourinho will set up, you know, against Everton? Because surely he loves to win an FA Cup. He loves to win cup competitions. It's his first full season in charge. We know all of the stats. We know that he's won trophy after trophy. He will be after this cup. How is he going to set up to win this game?
I think he'll go strong. I think he will really go strong. I think we got a chance against Everton, as Hollie pointed out really well earlier. I think we're kind of running parallel with Everton. You know, they look really good and then they don't look really good. I think if you shut certain players out again from the Everton side, then you've got a chance against them. You know, and I think you can get behind them. You can attack Everton. You certainly haven't got to sit back against them. God, I hope he doesn't play a low block against Everton. We've got a chance here, Chris, to progress. I think he'll go strong. Like I say, I wouldn't be surprised to see Harry Winks coming back into the team. To be honest, we spoke about him earlier. I think Winks could come in the middle with Højbjerg and Dombele.
Hold on a minute. You said, what is Harry Winks? Then you said Tottenham will go strong, and then you said Harry Winks is coming in the team.
I know I did, but I'm not. What I think they should play and what I think Jose will play is another matter. So I'm telling you what I think Jose will do, and it wouldn't surprise me if Harry Winks comes straight into to that team against Everton. As I say, I think he'll go strong. I think Kane will start. I think Son will start. Probably Bergwijn. As much as I want to see Bale, I think he'll go Bergwijn. The back four is anybody's guess, to be honest. And I think he'll play Lloris, actually. I don't think Joe Hart will get a game. I think they'll save him for the European game.
So you do genuinely think that he will go the strongest possible 11, even though we're facing the league leaders Manchester City on Saturday?
More or less. Yeah, more or less. I think he will. I think he won't write off the City game because you want to win every game you go in for. I don't disbelieve that. I think he's right, you know, but let's face it, I think, and he'll know this, we've got more chance of beating Everton than we have beating Manchester City. And we've got more chance of winning a trophy. If you take the Premier League as a trophy, which it is, we've got more chance of getting past Everton
Yeah.
Then winning 3 games to win a trophy. City is almost, I hate to use the phrase a free hit because we're not like a Sheffield United or a West Brom. We're Tottenham. And we should be thinking bigger than that. But if you're asking me out of the two, I think, you know, if a couple of players can't make Sunday's game, I don't think he's going to be that bothered. You've got somebody to bring in that could do a job against City. I think he wants to win Wednesday, and that's why I think he'll go strong.
Hollie, do you agree with Craig? Will Jose Mourinho go strong against Everton, and will Harry Winks be in midfield?
He's going to quote me on that.
It's a funny one. I like we said, I maybe Jose isn't playing to his strengths, because I think, like we've already mentioned, I think Winks likes to keep control of the ball, pass it sideways and backwards, retain possession, and then let everybody else try and form the attack. So I think I'm going to have to agree. And I think all of us kind of want to see this best team against Everton, because we've already said we all want a trophy. And if it's easier to get to that FA Cup final to then be able to pick up loads of points during the Premier League, I think we've all got to sit here and be like, it's got to be Everton over City. But like we've touched on, I think Jose will still have that game in the back of mind, like we all will watching that Everton game on Wednesday. So yeah, I think all guns blazing in a cup.
Hollie, there have been so many swapping and changing around in Premier League games, Europa League games, all the cup competitions that Tottenham are in. Do you think Jose Mourinho actually knows his best 11?
To be honest with you, I don't think I even know our best 11 at this moment in time. I think it's just amazing that we've got such a big squad depth, but I still don't know who's got quality in what positions. It's so confusing. I know we've got the obvious candidates, which is Sonny and Kane. We know they're brilliant all the time, but others, I sit there and think, I actually don't know sometimes who you're best partnered with. And I think that's why we keep seeing this swapping and changing all the time. And I think you've also got to try and keep the squad fresh. You've got to try and keep everyone happy, sadly, to get the best out of everyone. So yeah, I really don't think he actually knows who's his best squad is. And I think we also kind of know that he has got his favourites. And I think, sadly, whether we like Dyer or not in that centre-back role, I think that's who he knows he wants in that centre-back role. So I think it's a combination of the both. I think it's favourites and he doesn't have a clue.
Hollie, when you think of games like this against Everton, Eric Lamela and Lucas Moura have just had good games at the weekend. Obviously they will want to play. Gareth Bale as well, he will want to play. Carlos Vinicius, he will want to play. How does Jose Mourinho keep the morale amongst these players who are not getting the game time regularly?
Maybe try and promise them the next game, or look, I've got to put it to you, I think you're better suited to this. Because I think at the end of the day, and I know we've touched on Winks tonight, but I think Winks is the type of player that's in it for the squad collective. I think this is the whole thing of Jose coming in. I think everybody's kind of bought into this idea of, right, this is a big squad. If we want to achieve things this season, we've all got to pull together. There can't be individuals in this team anymore. I think we've all had to come together. And I think that's kind of the mentality Jose's tried to install. I mean, we've seen little tiffs, obviously, with Serge Aurier, and something happened in the Liverpool game at half time. And I think now that we've seen Serge play since then, I think there's just been a bit more of a installment in the fact that this is what we need to do together. And I think that's just kind of how Jose's tried to manage it, I think. So I think it's just being honest with the players and saying, look, we've all got to buy into this.
Melvyn, do you think Jose will go strong Wednesday night?
I think he will. I think he's too proud, and he's got that, that belief that he wants to win. He'll always put the best team he possibly can for the next match. And I think he'll play similar team that we played against West Bromwich Albion, and then he'll rotate for the City match and play, Bergwijn and all the other guys. He'll rotate. He'll play the best team he can possibly play, and there's enough rest, until Saturday as well. So why not? Why not? We need to beat Everton to get into the next round. Simple as that. And we're starving for trophies, and even for the momentum of the team. I think losing is a bigger, it will kill our morale. I think winning with our strongest team will be the best thing going into the City match, because that's what we need. We need confidence, and we need to boost our morale. Hopefully Everton, they don't have the strength and depth we do. Maybe they rotate and they don't play their best players. And you saw what happened to Everton when they lost a couple of key players. They dropped down so quickly, and they won't be as strong unless they play their best players. And I think if we play our best players, we can beat them.
Last question for you all. Craig, let's start with you. Score prediction for Wednesday night and score prediction for Saturday.
Okay. 2-1 Tottenham against Everton after extra time. It'll be 1-1 going to 2-1. Saturday, I think we are going to lose 2-1 to City. Sorry.
Wow. Will Harry Winks get the winner against Everton, do you think?
It's written in the stars, isn't it? It's written in the stars.
Hollie, what about you?
It's going to be really sad if I say the same, but I generally do. I think we'll definitely leak one against Everton because Everton do look good when they move forward if they play their strongest side. So I think 2-1, but obviously I think come Saturday, I think we are going to dip form slightly. And I kind of want to see us win, but I do think we will lose 2-1 as well.
Wow. Okay. Melvyn?
I think we'll beat Everton and we will draw against Manchester City. I think we'll beat Everton in extra time. I don't know the score, but I think we'll beat them in extra time and either penalties or I think penalties. Yeah,
No.
Against Pickford, I fancy beating them by penalties.
Harry Winks to get a penalty.
Do you know, Melvyn, surprisingly, I agree with every word you say. I think that we will get a draw at Manchester City, and I think that we will win on penalties on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
As long as we go through, that's the main thing.
We'll get the old low block, and you never know with Jose Mourinho's tactics. We can always win 1-0 and steal the result. It's always on the cards playing the way he does. That counter-attacking football. You can never rule out a victory. That's the problem. It's if we can hold on, hold the clean sheet through the whole game and maybe nick a 1-0. That's the problem. We can always win. It's hard to say we're not going to win because we've done it before. We've beaten City before, and Jose will go there not to lose. He'll want to win, and we have the players who can do it. A bit of magic from Son and Kane, and we've done it before. And it's difficult to say we're going to lose. That's because we've done it before. So It's hard to say we're going to lose, but I'll say we'll draw against City and we'll beat Everton.
Well, fingers crossed we can go through against Everton and get the 3 points against Manchester City. Hollie, before we go, just tell everyone where they can find you on YouTube and what's the channel called.
So you can literally just find me at the name. I thought I'd keep it nice and simple. The surname's not that simple, but literally just find me on YouTube at Hollie Agombar.
Brilliant. Melvyn, Craig, Hollie, thank you very much, and come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.